we see AI as a really important, significant and strategic differentiator. So these matters are discussed at our full board and also at our board risk committee, focusing obviously on the risks and emerging regulatory trends. At the executive level, I think there's sort of three aspects to think about. There's the kind of policy framework points first off. Secondly, how you're organisationally governing it, so what committees you have in place. And then thirdly, there's the sort of practical operationalisation of the framework. So at LSEG, what we've done is established a number of senior management, multidisciplinary AI working groups. I'm pleased to say this aligns with Stuart's advice. And we've got a kind of overarching AI framework which brings together our existing policies. So we don't have a dedicated AI policy as such, but we refer to, in our overarching framework, existing policies that play into those AI risks. So obvious ones: privacy, cyber, data governance, model risk, which we have quite a mature model risk team in our organisation, and that's been hugely valuable to leverage in the context of generative AI discussions. And then technology risk is the other big one. And so that's the kind of framework, and that's underpinned by our responsible AI principles, which I know many organisations now have. They are aligned to industry standards like NIST. And then at the sort of committee oversight level, we have a executive steering committee, which again, multidisciplinary, made up of our members of our executive team. And then we have three kind of working groups, which one is looking at product-based customer external use cases. Second is looking at internal kind of productivity and efficiency gains. And then the third one is a more governance-focused group, looking at how we are operationalizing the governance, looking at regulatory trends, best practice in terms of managing risks. And the legal team is represented on all three of those working groups. And then in terms of operationalising this, kind of two key points. We have an AI intake process, which does an initial triage to check that the use cases align strategically with where we want the business to be headed. And at that point, there's a kind of initial AI assessment. So working out what is the inherent risk of this use case, how much attention does this need further down the line, to really try to scale and move at pace. The second part of the operationalisation is, certainly for my team, in the legal team, is having really clear playbooks. So playbooks for inbound data that we're going to be using with a model, then a playbook for how we deal with the model itself, so with the vendors, through the procurement process. And then thirdly, outbound, so where we are providing outputs or AI product to customers, thinking about the obligations there around liability, transparency, and making sure we've embedded relevant parts of regulation into that output. And these are regularly updated and evolving. Obviously, this is a very new space, so as we get more mature in this area, we constantly revisit these things to make sure that they remain fit for purpose.